All righty then. So we are going to do Romans. And you know what I need to do? Yesterday's Bible study needs to go into the faith study. Yeah, that faith study was really good. Let's briefly go over it in the New Living Translation for us. That is why God abandoned them to their shameful desires. Even the women turned against the natural way to have, what they do, what we all do, and instead indulged in sex with each other. Same with the men. Instead of having normal relations with a woman, burn with lust for each other. So it's the HOMO word. Men did shameful things with other men. As a result of this sin, they suffered within themselves the penalty they deserved. And of course, God hands them over to that. They're born that way. It's not a choice. And so, but you have to go back and watch yesterday's study. I'm not going to go back over it all again. Yesterday's study was deep, long, good. Watch it. Since they thought it foolish to acknowledge God, he abandoned them to their foolish thinking and let them do things that should never be done. Their lives became full of every kind of wickedness, sin, greed, hate, envy, murder, quarreling, deception, malicious behavior, and gossip. Who's he talking about? He's talking about all goats. They are the backstabbers, haters of God, insolent, proud, boastful. They invent ways of sinning, and they disobey their parents. They refuse to understand, break their promise, and are heartless, have no mercy. They know God's justice requires that those who do these things deserve to die. Yet, they do them anyway. Worse yet, they encourage others to do them too. God's judgment of sin, chapter 2, Romans. You may think you can condemn such people, but you are just as bad, and you have no excuse. When you say they are wicked and should be punished, you are condemning yourself, for you who judge others do these very same things. Lost sheep are lost. Lost sheep act as goats until they get the call, and then the Lord starts pulling them out of the world. You never want to judge anybody's salvation because you have no idea until they die. You will know them by their fruits, and maybe maybe they haven't gotten the call yet. So you can't judge their salvation. You can judge their acts accordingly on a day by day basis and have nothing to do with them, or however you see fit, whatever you're called to do. Fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backstabbers, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covet breakers, without natural affection, um, implacable, unmerciful, colon, because all those were commas after each. Once that semicolon, it was comma, 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 after that verse, comma, after that verse, comma, back to a semicolon. Who, knowing the judgment of God, which they commit the things which are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that they do. Of course, they have no ability whatsoever to understand what they're doing. Even lost sheep don't know that they're in sin while they're doing it or have the ability to stop it. All right, Nebuchadnezzar writing Daniel 4. Let's get to verse 5. Nebuchadnezzar says, I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore, I made a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon. But what happened to Daniel? Why is he doing that? Why didn't he just bring in Daniel? Because he's still King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, lost sheep. Therefore, I made it bring in the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known to me the interpretation of the dream. Then came in the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers, and Daniel. What? How come Daniel's not there yet? I don't know. And told the dream before them, and they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. So see, he's in the first person right here. But other times he will speak of himself in the third person. But at last Daniel came in before me. Oh, there he is. Yay. Whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God, first person. And in whom the spirit of the holy gods, and before him I told the dream, saying, O Belteshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods, plural, is in thee, and no secret troubleth thee. Tell me the visions of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. Thus were the visions of mine head. In my bed I saw, and behold, a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great. Now, he represents, the tree is Nebuchadnezzar. The tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof unto the end of the earth. He was the world leader. The leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof much, because through this kingdom the world was fed. And it was meat for all, or food for all, the beasts of the field, and shadow under it, and the fowls of heaven dwelt in the bowels thereof, and all flesh was fed of it. All right, that's it. Love y'all very much. Ask questions anytime.